The rising COVID-19 numbers in the province are now worrying. This as there's been a rapid increase over the past 3 weeks.
We've seen more than 20% per day increase in the 7-day rolling average on average this past week. We've also seen an increase in the proportion of tests that are positive, which is a very strong indicator of the level of community transmission, and that's gone above 10%. We've also seen an increase in the reproduction number to 2.3, which means that the number of people each infected person can infect has gone from 1 to about 2 people per person. We've also seen an increase in COVID-19 admissions, but not to the extent that we've seen cases.
While experts say the province will need 4,000 beds at the peak of the fourth wave, it seems bed space is not yet something to worry about.
Hospitalizations are increasing, but at a much lower rate than the cases, and also at a much lower rate than we saw in the third wave. Just by comparison, during the third wave, when Gauteng was reporting 90,000 COVID-19 cases per week, which is the number of cases we saw in the weekend of 27th November, we were reporting 5,777 new admissions in a week. But in comparison this time around, when we're at 9,000 new cases per week, we only reported 418 admissions that week. So it's giving us some indication that the rate at which cases are increasing is significantly faster than the rate at which hospitalizations. And this is leading us to believe that vaccination is probably already beginning to see an impact.
But the province is leaving nothing to chance.
We are working with health facilities, both in the public and the private sector, to get them ready for the worst. Getting ready for the worst is always important. Our teams have been activating, going back to the resurgence plan, to activate and repurpose more beds. You know, when we go through to the peak of the wave, our health services, once we have gone through the peak when the hospital admissions are going down, we open more services.
The province has been on a drive to get more people to vaccinate, especially the young. So there are still 8 million people who are not vaccinated in the country's economic hub. The Gauteng Premier says the best thing to do is to persuade them to take responsibility for their health and safety. But if that does not work, mandatory vaccinations may be the only solution, and that's the sentiment that was shared by the President in his last address to the nation. Griselda Lewis, SABC News in Midrand.